Tom Bower told us exactly who Camilla was. The palace called him a liar. Every single warning he made is now coming true. Number 7 on this list, it's the warning about Diana that everyone dismissed as jealousy. History just proved Diana right. Number 14, he wrote it in 2018. It started happening in December 2024. This wasn't gossip. This was a man with palace sources, private letters and recordings, and they tried to silence him. Camilla's team spent years discrediting Bower, calling his books tabloid trash, pressuring publishers. But Bower never backed down. He kept writing, he kept warning, and now time has done what no journalist could. Every chapter he wrote is unfolding in real time, and Camilla can't stop it. The woman who spent decades controlling the narrative just lost control of it, permanently. These are 20 things Tom Bower warned us about Camilla that have finally been proven true. The palace doesn't want you to see them together. That's exactly why you should. Number 1, Camilla controls Charles completely. Tom Bower documented how Camilla became the gatekeeper to Charles. Every decision filtered through her, every appointment approved by her, every rival quietly removed from the inner circle. His sources described a prince who could not function without her input on even minor matters. Staff learned quickly that crossing Camilla meant career destruction. Courtiers who questioned her influence found themselves reassigned to obscure posts or pushed out entirely. The message was unmistakable from the beginning. Bower warned this dependency would only deepen once Charles became king. Critics called it exaggeration. He was right. Royal sources now confirm Charles consults Camilla on virtually every decision of consequence. His cancer diagnosis made the dependency worse, not better. The man who waited 70 years for the throne cannot exercise its power without the woman beside him. She attends meetings she has no constitutional role in. She weighs in on matters that should never reach her. She has become essential to a king who cannot function alone. Charles is king in name, but Bower warned us who really holds the influence behind the throne. The palace has stopped pretending otherwise. Number 2, the media rehabilitation was manufactured. Bower exposed the machinery behind Camilla's image transformation. It was not organic. It was not earned. It was purchased and planted story by story, photograph by photograph. He documented the lunches with editors, the coordinated coverage, the strategic leaks designed to soften her reputation, the planted stories portraying her as warm, funny, and misunderstood. Bower warned the rehabilitation was a 40-year PR campaign, not genuine change in public perception. The polls prove he was right. Despite decades of manufactured coverage, Camilla's approval ratings have collapsed. The British public saw through it. They always knew what they were being sold. Now that the machinery is slowing down, the truth is reasserting itself. You cannot manufacture love. Bower knew that. The numbers confirm it. Number 3, staff feared her. Bower's sources described an atmosphere of fear around Camilla. Aides who displeased her faced consequences. Staff whispered warnings to new hires. The message was clear: do not cross her. He documented specific incidents. Assistants reassigned after minor disagreements. Courtiers frozen out for perceived disloyalty. A pattern of retaliation that created a culture of silence. Bower warned this would eventually cause problems with staff retention. Look at the turnover now. Camilla's personal staff has experienced significant departures in recent years. Aides who seemed devoted have quietly moved on. The atmosphere Bower described has not changed. It has intensified as her position becomes more precarious. The fear he documented is now driving people out the door. Number 4, she orchestrated Diana's isolation. This was Bower's most controversial claim. He argued Camilla was not a passive participant in Diana's suffering. She was an active architect of Diana's isolation within the royal family. He documented how Camilla maintained her relationship with Charles throughout his marriage, how she was always there, always available, always the escape from a wife Charles never wanted, how Diana's complaints were dismissed as hysteria, while Camilla positioned herself as the stable alternative. Bower warned history would eventually recognize Camilla's role. The younger generation already does. They have watched The Crown, they have read the biographies, they understand that Diana was not simply unlucky in marriage. She was systematically undermined by a woman who refused to let go and a man too weak to choose. Bauer told this truth when it was dangerous to say. Now millions believe it. Number 5, Charles would choose legacy over loyalty. Bauer predicted a moment would come when Charles would have to choose between protecting Camilla and protecting his legacy. He warned Charles was too focused on history's judgment to sacrifice everything for her. This prediction is unfolding now. As Charles faces his mortality, his priorities have shifted. He's thinking about how history will remember him. He's thinking about William's reign. He's thinking about the monarchy's survival beyond his lifetime. Quietly, the conversations that once centered Camilla are now centering William. Bauer understood Charles better than Charles understood himself. The king who fought for 50 years to make Camilla his queen is now calculating whether that fight was worth what it will cost his legacy. Number 6, the public would never fully accept her. Bauer never believed the rehabilitation would succeed. He argued the British public had long memories and strong attachments. Diana was too beloved. The betrayal was too public. The wounds were too deep. He warned that coronation or not, Camilla would never achieve genuine acceptance. The polls prove him right repeatedly. Camilla's favorability remains stuck in the low 40s. In some American polls, she rates lower than Andrew among older voters who remember Diana. The title of Queen Consort has not changed how people feel. The crown on her head has not erased what she did. Bauer predicted this failure before it was measurable. Now the data confirms everything he said. But the polling failure is not even the most damning thing Bauer predicted, because his warning about Diana cuts deeper than numbers ever could. Number 7, Diana knew exactly what Camilla was. This is the warning nobody wanted to hear, the one that got Bauer labeled as biased. Bauer documented Diana's understanding of her situation with devastating clarity. Diana was not naive. She was not paranoid. She was not the hysteric the palace painted her as. She saw clearly what was happening and who was responsible. Diana told friends that Camilla was not a passive mistress, but an active participant in destroying her marriage. She believed Camilla encouraged Charles's emotional distance. She believed Camilla enjoyed watching her suffer. She believed history would eventually prove her right about everything. Bauer took Diana's perspective seriously when everyone else dismissed it as jealousy or mental instability. Nearly 3 decades later, Diana's assessment looks prophetic. Everything she warned about has come to pass. The woman she identified as her tormentor now wears the crown Diana was promised. And the public that loved Diana has never stopped believing her version of events. Bauer validated Diana's truth when it was deeply unpopular to do so. History has confirmed it completely. Number 8, Camilla's spending would become a problem. Bauer documented Camilla's lifestyle expectations, the expensive tastes, the staff requirements, the maintenance of multiple residences, the wardrobe budgets that rivaled working royals who did twice as many engagements. He warned this spending would become politically difficult as public attitudes toward the monarchy shifted. The conversation has arrived. As cost of living pressures mount in Britain, scrutiny of royal expenditures has intensified. Questions about the sovereign grant, questions about who pays for what, questions about whether Camilla's lifestyle is justified by her contribution. Bauer saw this reckoning coming years ago. The tabloids are now asking the exact questions he raised. Number 9. Her charitable work was strategic, not genuine. Bauer was skeptical of Camilla's sudden embrace of charitable causes. He documented how her team selected causes that would generate positive coverage, literacy campaigns, domestic violence awareness, causes that were sympathetic and uncontroversial. He argued this was reputation management, not genuine passion. Watch her charitable engagements now. Count how many cameras are present. Notice which events she attends and which she skips. The pattern Bauer identified continues unchanged. The causes that generate good photographs get her attention. The unglamorous work happens elsewhere. Bauer's cynicism was justified. The charity was always about the optics. Number 10. William's resentment was real and deep. Bauer documented William's complicated feelings about Camilla. The forced smiles at public events, the careful physical distance, the public politeness that masked private pain. He warned William had never truly accepted Camilla, and likely never would. The boy who watched his mother suffer would not forget who caused that suffering. Bauer was accused of exaggerating the tension. Critics said William had moved on. They pointed to public appearances as proof of acceptance. Look at the body language now. Count the joint engagements. Notice who William includes in his inner circle and who remains on the periphery. The resentment Bauer documented has not faded. It has calcified into something permanent. William will become king. Bauer warned us what that would mean for Camilla. This is where Bauer's predictions shift from observation to prophecy, because everything he warned about William is now becoming visible to everyone. Number 11, the Queen's blessing would not protect her. When Queen Elizabeth endorsed Camilla as future Queen Consort, the palace celebrated it as a definitive victory. The last obstacle removed, the final legitimacy granted. But Bauer warned the blessing was not what it seemed. He argued Elizabeth was managing a dying wish, not binding future kings. He noted that William was not consulted. He predicted that once Elizabeth was gone, the endorsement would lose its power. He was right. The Queen's blessing is now a fading memory invoked when convenient. William references his grandmother's wishes selectively. The endorsement that was supposed to settle Camilla's future has become one opinion among many. Elizabeth is gone. Her blessing went with her. Bauer knew it would. Number 12. Camilla would face backlash during crisis. Bauer predicted Camilla would struggle when the monarchy faced genuine crisis. She had been protected during good times, but real pressure would expose her limitations. Charles's cancer diagnosis created that crisis. Watch the public response. The sympathy flows to Charles, to William, to Catherine during her own health battles. Camilla exists in the background, present but not central. The public has not rallied around her. They have rallied around the family members they actually care about. Bauer understood that manufactured affection would not survive real tests. The crisis proved him right. Number 13. Her children would distance themselves. Bauer observed that Tom Parker Bowles and Laura Lopes maintained careful distance from royal controversy. They appeared when required but rarely defended their mother publicly. He predicted this distance would become more pronounced as Camilla's position grew more precarious. Watch them now. The silence when criticism mounts, the absence from public defense, the careful calculation about what association with their mother might cost them. Bauer saw this coming. Her own children are positioning for a future that does not center her. But here is the warning Bauer wrote in 2018 that started coming true in December 2024. Number 14. The Commonwealth would publicly reject her. Bauer documented Camilla's poor reception in Commonwealth nations during every royal tour. He noted that leaders were polite but never warm. He warned that former colonies would eventually reject the woman who symbolized the monarchy at its worst. In December 2024, that rejection took a concrete step forward. Jamaica's parliament tabled a bill to remove the monarchy entirely. Australia's Republican movement gained new momentum, with polling showing majority support for change. Barbados already cut ties years ago and has not looked back. And in every statement, every interview, every diplomatic communication, the same theme emerges. The modern Commonwealth has no interest in figures associated with the monarchy's scandals and dysfunction. Camilla's name is never mentioned directly in these announcements. It does not need to be. Everyone watching understands who they are distancing themselves from. Everyone knows which face represents what they are rejecting. Bauer predicted institutional rejection years ago when it seemed impossible. Now the legislation is being drafted and the dominoes are falling. Number 15. She would become a liability to Charles. Bauer's central argument was that Camilla would eventually cost Charles more than she gave him. The political capital spent defending her, The public goodwill burned, protecting her reputation. The family relationships damaged by insisting on her centrality. He predicted Charles would eventually recognize this calculation. That moment has arrived. Charles is thinking about legacy. He's thinking about William. Every advisor honest enough to tell him the truth is delivering the same message. Camilla is not an asset. She is a weight. Number 16. Palace insiders would eventually talk. Bauer got his information because people talked. Staff, courtiers, officials who had witnessed too much to stay silent. He warned more would follow as Camilla's protection weakened. The leaks have accelerated. Stories that would have been killed now make it to print. Sources who would have stayed silent now return journalists' calls. The wall of protection is crumbling. Bauer proved silence could be broken. Others are following his example. Number 17. William would build his own court. Bauer observed William deliberately building relationships independent of his father's household. Separate staff, separate advisors, separate priorities, a parallel operation that owed nothing to Charles or Camilla. He warned William was preparing for a transition that would not include continuity with his father's choices. Look at Kensington Palace now. William's team operates with increasing independence. His messaging diverges from Clarence House. His priorities are his own. Bauer saw William building something. The construction is nearly complete. Number 18. The truth would outlast the spin. Bauer's fundamental belief was that truth eventually wins. Spin can delay it. PR can obscure it. Money can bury it temporarily. But truth is patient. He warned that everything hidden about Camilla would eventually surface. Every lie would be exposed. Every manipulation would be documented. We are watching this happen now. The younger generation has access to information previous generations lacked. They are drawing conclusions no reputation management can reverse. Bauer bet on truth. Truth is paying off. Number 19. The reckoning would come from within. Bauer did not believe Camilla would be destroyed by media or public opinion alone. Those forces could wound her but not finish her. He warned the real threat was inside the family itself. Someone with power, patience, and memory. He meant William. For nearly 3 decades, William has waited in silence. He has smiled for cameras when required. He has attended family events without complaint. He has said nothing publicly that could be used against him or quoted back later. But Bauer documented what William really felt beneath that careful surface. And Bauer warned that when William finally had power, he would use it without hesitation. That power is approaching faster than anyone expected. Charles is 77 with cancer. William's moment is coming, and Camilla knows exactly what that moment will bring. Number 20. William would undo everything Charles built for her. This is the prediction that haunts Camilla's remaining years, the warning she thinks about every time she looks at William. Bauer argued William would systematically dismantle everything Charles constructed for Camilla over 50 years. The titles Charles fought for, the residences Charles secured, the allowances Charles guaranteed, the seat at state occasions Charles demanded. Every single brick of the edifice Charles spent half a century building would be removed, not out of cruelty, out of loyalty to Diana, out of a promise William made to himself while holding his mother's hand as she cried in Kensington Palace, out of a debt he has been waiting nearly 3 decades to collect. William has never confirmed any of this publicly. He does not need to. Everyone who has watched him closely for the past 3 decades understands what is coming. The warmth toward Camilla is not there and never has been. The acceptance is not real and never was. The patience is not infinite. It is measured in the remaining years of his father's life. Diana told William everything before she died. She made sure her firstborn son knew exactly what had been done to her and who was responsible. She wanted him to remember when his time came. William remembers every word, and his time is coming. Tom Bauer spent years documenting what Camilla's team tried to hide. He interviewed sources who risked careers to tell him the truth. He published warnings that the palace dismissed as fantasy. One by one, those warnings are being proven right. Camilla's approval has collapsed. Staff are leaving, the public has not forgiven, the Commonwealth has publicly rejected her, and William has not forgotten a single thing his mother told him. 20 warnings from Tom Bower, 20 predictions Diana would have recognized as truth, and one son patient enough to wait for power. Everything Bower wrote is now undeniable, and the reckoning he predicted is unfolding faster than Camilla ever feared. But there is one thing even Bower has not written about yet, what William actually plans to do when he takes the throne. Click right here for 20 powers Charles handed William that erase Camilla's entire future.